I listen to even hip hop. I listen to rock sometimes. Yeah, I listen to.
Favorite hip hop artist?
Cool J.
I bring more drama than baby mamas. Getting busted for ounces of ganja from the Bahamas.
Shamsi Ali isn't your traditional imam. He listens to hip hop. We recently met up with him at the Islamic Cultural Center of New York to find out more about that and some of his other views on the world. Now, being American, Indonesian, Muslim, how do you identify yourself?
The moment I landed in this country, and I was a neighbor to one of the Irish persons in Syria. He and his wife is a very wonderful guy, very wonderful family, and we become like friends. You know, he invited me to have lunch with my family, and we invite them to our homes, and we become friends. At that moment, we oftentimes forget that I'm a Muslim and he is a Catholic. You know, we are all human beings. That kind of environment basically changed my mindset. That, you know, in order for us to change our perception about the other, we must be exposed to other. And that's why September 11 basically opened an opportunity for me to expose myself to other communities. And since then, I'm very much involved in the interfaith works.
Recently, we saw a bombing threat on Times Square, and yet another young Muslim was involved. Do you have any insight into that mindset that draws the young Muslim to that extremism?
If you see the terrorist attacks that took place in the past, mostly carried out by those who only claim to be better Muslims. But if you study their backgrounds, and I have to say, including Bin Laden, he never studied Islam in his youth. He was a businessman. He studied business. He didn't study this religion. So he was kind of culturally shocked and suddenly become like a Maulana or like a Muslim scholar. But basically, he never studied this religion. The problem of people who follow religions, and I'm talking about all religions, when we follow religions on the basis of sentiments and emotions, that we will be misled very easily. And many of these terrorist attacks that happened in the past because of political reasons. We have seen the news about this Pakistani guy who wanted to plot bombing at the Times Square. And he said because he's angry about Iraq and Afghanistan, so there's nothing to do with religion, it's political things. And then he was then fueled by his own countrymen, Taliban. And to be honest, Taliban people. These people looks like very much good Muslims, but they are empty Islamic knowledge. They don't know what Islam is all about. These are people who study one particular book in the madrasa, and they take conclusion that they think that they know everything else about Islam. They are very narrow-minded people. They don't know the outside world, and that kinds of Muslims who ruined the Islam or our teachings in general.
Now, in American politics, there are a lot of polarizing figures. What do you think of when you hear of Sarah Palin?
Sarah Palin and others in the Tea Party groups. You know, again, coming back to the nature of this country, this is the country that really needs to be appreciated. The possibility of everybody to express themselves. But again, as we are moving forward into different world, I think it's a time to keep aside the divisive nature of our behavior. Because the way they present their ideas, their opinions, I think is a kind of divisive. It is not only that Muslims felt being, you know, kind of cornered because of that kind of behavior, but I think many Americans feel that it is not something that we need right now.
Are you worried about Sarah Palin running for president?
You know, we may have that kind of worry, but it is not over-worried because regime come and go. But the United States will remain United States, and America will remain America.
Unlike some imams, you don't consider music un-Islamic. Do you consider yourself a hip imam?
There is no mention anywhere about music in the Quran, because the word itself is a new word. Prophet Muhammad, in the time of Prophet Muhammad, there is no word music or music at the time. But what is the reason to say it is haram, it is unlawful? If you say that that makes some forgetful of God, then there are many things that may cause people forgetful of God, including business. So should you say that business is not allowed? So it depends on how you use it. Islam is about progress. Islam is about development. And so I cannot stick into the understanding of Islam in the 7th century, because that makes me, marginalized. That makes me kind of stupid in this scientific era. And so I have to open my mind and to see about the time and the era where we live in.
How many rhymes? How many dimes? How many find a way to rip, spit, hit, reminisce,